Hello, everyone. Before we get started, we have to pay the bills real quick. So, I would like to tell you about Anchor. Anchor is your free all in one podcast application. With Anchor, you have creation tools built in to record and edit your episodes straight from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple, and many other platforms. It even lets you monetize your podcast with no minimum listenership. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now. We use it, and so can you. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hey,
Hey, can you hear me? I guess because you responded.
I guess that means you can hear me as well.
Yeah, I'm not using my headphones, so I want to see if that works.
Me neither. I didn't feel like setting anything up, so I got the tablet sitting like right next to me, so I figured that's good enough.
Same.
I started using headphones actually because you were using the AirPods, and they like to take over the sound. Like when I was listening to the recording, if you were talking, you couldn't hear anybody else. It was like the only I guess it's some kind of Apple thing. So I started using the headphones, so that didn't happen. So, hi, Ellie. If we want to go headphone free, I mean, I can do that. Unless we're in the same location, because then it's kind of fun. Oh, anyway, how's everybody?
Good.
So
Welcome to Going 19, episode 28. Today we are covering Anne Rice, The Witching Hour, chapters 13 through 16. I'm Ed. With me are Allie and Amber. Let's start the show.
alright.
Okay, begin. You should do that next time, or one of you should do that. We should alternate.
Yeah, we can do it. Oh my.
Especially it's easy if you put it in a podcast instead of doing it. So,
I was just gonna say it's actually like a lot more interesting to read. Like I like the way she set this up. It's a lot more interesting to read the history of it, knowing a lot of what we know about the characters already. And we haven't even gotten to the characters that we know, but it's just like to see the lineage and to see the way it develops and the differences in each generation.
Yeah, it's interesting. I still had to, even though we're reading the history, I still had to make out a family tree to be like, okay, who are we talking about now? Who does that lead to? Where is this going?
Oh, I Googled it. I printed one out because I'm like, I can't keep track of this.
yeah, I got...
When we talked about it at work, I was like, oh, I'm going to give you this. This is great.
I mean, I didn't even try. Like I was okay until we started going after when we left Saint Dominique, Louisiana, I guess. But because then it just started blah 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 blah. Or that, that's chapter. That's 17. Okay, so, well then.
Well, I did read well, yeah. I guess we're not talking about that.
Like it's. I didn't get a family tree. Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe I should try that. I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea.
It did kind of spoil, like there's a spoiler even though I was just about to get to that part because it tells you obviously like who is a child of whom. So I was like, oh, wait, excuse me, Peter and Charlotte sleep together? What?
Oh. So you looked at that before you read that part?
Yeah, but I mean, it was like when Peter was like Deborah was dying, and he was saying he was gonna go talk to her. Like it was just
Peter, can it really be you?
Oh yeah, Allie didn't get to hear that when we were there.
Huh?
I was listening to the audiobook, and that's how Deborah talks.
Oh.
She's very Scottish.
Peter. Sounds like Pater, like tater tot. She calls him Pater.
Yeah.
Peter, can it really be you?
Oh gosh.
Audiobooks are fun, man. I enjoy them, but yeah, I always have to read it first before I can do that. So I guess I don't like Pater as much as I did before he started fucking his whole family. But he's still, I don't know. I still feel bad for him. Like I almost feel like he had no choice with Charlotte, and then Well, at some point he did, but initially he didn't.
I feel like it's the way, I don't know. I can't tell if it's written to make you feel bad for him or to make it so that he can justify it for himself. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I still don't feel bad for him. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Deborah, you know, whatever. There's nothing wrong there, but
yeah, I think he was. I mean, you know, like whatever. Your thoughts are your thoughts. He didn't do anything. That's what matters.
Yeah. With Deborah, it was all very above board, more or less. With Charlotte, even before he was under the influence of wine and her and Lasher and whoever, he was still having those thoughts.
Exactly.
So it's skeezy vibes from the start.
And I'm like, I understand. Maybe also it was probably a lot more, I don't know if acceptable is the word, but maybe common at that point. And
maybe adulthood started younger too. That's what I was trying to say. When you only live till you're, 55, then you consider an adult. I would imagine you're much younger than you are now. So maybe it's always tricky to apply today's standards.
I'm not talking about the age. I'm talking about the incest.
I thought you were talking about Deborah.
No, I'm talking about Charlotte now. So that's why I was starting to say, like, there's almost a perspective from which I'm like, I don't even want to say, it's like whatever, because again, maybe it was more common back then, and he didn't like. I'm not even gonna make this argument. I don't know where I was going with that. But
you're trying to make it okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not. It's not okay. And then like that he makes comments. There's a part of me that wonders if he's not being influenced by her in some way from the beginning, which is also like weird. Like, what is her problem?
Yeah, like there are other eligible men type folk that are not your fathers, that are also not your husband, who is not going to give you a good lineage. Like,
well, I think who he was had everything to do with it because of the gene pool or the.
Well, they talked about...
I'm sure it is, but that's still just gross.
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody's arguing that.
It might have been 17, but where they talked about how like they always go for like good-looking people, and I'm like, there are still other good-looking.
The father of all the Mayfairs.
Yeah, I also, wait, crap, I don't remember if that was, I think that was 16 still.
I think you were talking.
They're talking about how that they decided to stay at a distance.
No further direct contact was attempted during Stefan's lifetime or something like that.
Yeah. So he was like, okay, this is too dangerous.
Right, okay, now we're dying. So
Sorry, no, that is all. Yeah, there's a lot that I read in 17. I didn't even realize. Sorry.
What happened to Peter? How did he die?
Yeah, I was like, God, it sounds so gruesome.
So did it? I can't remember if it said in 16 or if it was in 17.
No, it's in 16 because I'm looking at it on 397.
Okay, the whole journey from wherever he went, fucking through the woods and over the bridge in the cemetery, that was awesome. I loved it so.
Yeah, that was probably one of the most interesting parts of the entire book for me thus far.
It kind of read like a creep show like episode, honestly.
Yes.
I felt like I was there, like I was in there. I was like, ooh, now the graves are popping up. Oh, that's like, and then she said something about varying states of decay. I think I was like, oh man, I could picture all that.
Like the way she describes everything, I'm like, I'm seeing it as it's happening, and it's just like bam, bam, bam. Like that was great.
Yeah, like he. What happened? The bridge collapsed or something? Oh no, you could hear the graves, and then he turned around.
I made a list of everything because it was so funny. It reminded me of in 11/22/63 and the obdurate past and everything that keeps happening. Like that's exactly what I was thinking of.
So, Lasher said he wouldn't kill him. Obviously, these witches are underestimating him. because
Oh my God, yeah.
he's doing shit that they don't know about, and they don't believe him when he tells them that he's doing shit that they don't know about.
I wrote that so many times where I'm like, why? Why do you not think he would do this? Why do you think you have complete control over him? It's like, you're so, well, maybe because he's controlling you, but still.
Yeah, why do you think you're the one? They're addicted to the power, man. That guy can get a goddamn, Hope Diamond at the drop of a hat anytime they ask for it.
Yeah, I also I feel like we learned a lot more about, well, obviously about him, sort of. Like the fact that, if these jewels and riches are coming, maybe, I guess we don't even know if that's true or not, but if they're coming from somewhere else, then when he forms as a man, like, where does that come from? Is it just power, or is he stealing life force? Like, what is happening?
I think, at least when I think it was when Rita Mae's story, they gave the impression that he was going somewhere and coming back almost instantaneously, like somewhere else in the world, and grabbing them and coming back.
That would make sense.
I don't know if he's creating these things. That kind of changes his whole thing.
It's weird, and it also kind of, well, that's what I'm saying. I can't tell if it's a lack of power, like he needs more power in order to be this being, or if he is fading in and out because he has to create it in real time from people.
It seemed like the Peter that said that he pulls from you what you see.
Well, that definitely, yeah, like the
felt like a lot like Pennywise.
The visions, yeah. I love. He says something right before he dies. Hold on, I highlighted it. Where he says, "For I can learn," page 394. "For I can learn nothing from the fool thing, except that he and I together can make images the like of which would have driven Jesus from the desert mad."
I remember that part. I almost highlighted that too. Like, well, no, I'll let that go because it doesn't. The religious sect is not looking too good in this book so far already. So.
Well, I just thought it was funny.
I know what. I'm not. I didn't actually think about it that way.
He's just the images that he and I can make together, man. You should have seen them. You're the only one that can.
Yep.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen him. Because it seems like a real effort for him to. See, if he was making them jewels out of whatever, then he would have to maintain their existence forever. So I don't think that's what it is.
Right.
Because if he stopped thinking about it, or he tripped on a rock and went, oh fuck, and they would all disappear, right? Because for him to appear, at least, he has to concentrate on it, and it takes an effort, I think. And then it gets tiring, and he zaps away, or he gets mad. He's
Well, that's what I was saying. So yeah, that's what I was saying. Is it that, or is it the jewels? It would have to be probably what you're saying then.
Yeah, he instantaneously showed up in India and stole a jewel off the table and then came back,
But also, there's a lot more people that see him in these chapters. It's not just the girls or the Mayfair family, or Peter or Michael. Excuse me.
It's mostly Mayfairs and Michael.
Mostly. It seems like some of the people in the tavern see him too, though, when Peter's sitting there trying not to go crazy.
Yeah.
Talking to his dead mentors and stuff. And people say they see him sitting a dark-haired man.
Yeah, when he's not hurting him, but he sure is fucking with him.
Yeah. Which I was always kind of curious, where did Lasher get his human form? Not where in the sense of how did he create it, but where in the sense of how did he choose what he looked like? Does he have a form, or does he is he taking the image of someone else?
Yeah, that's a good.
I think there's both. I mean, there's that. Oh wait, that's in the next chapter. there's definitely times where he is being guided by one of the witches and being told what to look like. But he seems to have, well, what is it? The black-haired man seems to be his general default appearance.
They don't really ever describe his features. It's always just like tall, dark-haired man. Like
Michael talks about him, I think, almost being featureless and like an image. I forget how he described it. Like it was one big thing instead of individual parts.
There's even one point I remember Peter says like he looks at me and he would have smiled if he could move his mouth. Like
yeah.
Like, like his face is big.
Doesn't that happen when he sees him in the cottage, the sex prison, or whatever the fuck it is?
Yeah.
Isn't he talking to him, but his mouth isn't moving or something? Yeah, that would be a little weird.
And then Charlotte is shocked to find out he's like, he spoke to you? And I was like, yeah, he does things without you. Imagine that.
Right? He was here like 10 minutes ago, and she's just like, no, he wasn't. Shut up. Like, okay.
I also like what Peter says at the end about how he's like, well, first of all, the whole trip was pointless. I'm like, dude, you were better off just staying there until you died. Because literally he left to then be like, I gotta go back and tell her to stop, and then died on that trip. And
I would have died on the boat, although that would be a shitty way to die.
Yeah.
Like, I would think at that point, I would have assumed that his power was limited in a range at some way geographically, depending on the witch that had control of the legacy. So, like, if it's, Charlotte's the heir, then he was limited. He could only go so far from her. But at that point, but he jumped halfway across the country to get to Rowan, so I don't. Maybe dying changes the rules. I'm not sure.
Wait, what? Oh, you're talking about Lasher, but that was also after Charlotte Deirdre. So many names.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if the heir dies, does that change the rules till he gets to the next heir, and then is he limited again? I don't know. I don't know what his limits are. I don't think anyone knows.
Yeah, it almost makes it seem like the person who holds the emerald is the one who controls him, but at the same time, if he went to Rowan after Deirdre died, she still had the emerald.
I think the emerald's going to be Rowan sooner rather than later. I think it's definitely tied to that.
I mean, I think he is tied to it in a sense, but like he was around before the emerald was.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Deborah that got the emerald?
Yeah, Deborah got it in Amsterdam.
And then, like, I remember writing down, he goes to Charlotte and, like, I was like, this is actually officially, like, sexual assault now, because he starts, like, touching her, and she doesn't even have the emerald at this point. She doesn't even know who he is, like.
I don't remember that. With what, in Amsterdam? I mean, in, where the hell were they? France?
It wasn't that Saint Dominique?
Yeah, no. Wait. Charlotte's all Saint Dominique. So yeah.
Yeah.
Because as soon as Deborah is burned, he like flies to her. I have it. I can find it. I remember I wrote it down because I was like, okay, I've already not been okay with the grooming, but this is now officially assault.
Okay, so
He didn't. I thought he talked to her first. Did he start touching her first?
I mean, I think he said something, but like it all happened at the same time.
he's like, hey, baby. If I could rearrange the alphabet, I'd put you and I next to each other. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to Deborah because I have questions about her. Why did she die?
How
She
did she
didn't
die?
even she didn't even burn. She threw herself off the damn building. Why didn't she just leave?
I also
Why
wrote
did she-
that down that someone says that she threw herself off, but someone else says that she was pushed.
Nobody pushed her. We watched it happen. Peter watched it happen.
I don't mean like another person.
Right. I don't. I don't think Lasher killed her. Is that what you're saying?
Hold on. Just whatever you were saying, go on. I gotta find where I was.
Well,
I
She
think
called-
maybe he didn't want to live.
well, he goes right to Charlotte when she dies. I don't think he's got much of a problem.
I think
No.
maybe she didn't know that he would go to Charlotte.
Yeah, maybe she wasn't
Although
sure.
she sent Peter to warn her. I don't know.
Like, why didn't she save herself? I guess is my real question. Because she was able to destroy the entire town and everybody that was trying to execute her with Lasher. Well, why didn't she use him to get her out of the damn jail and get out of there and do whatever, go live? I don't feel like she sacrificed herself kind of for no reason, the way I see it. He could have went with Charlotte. They both could have lived there.
You said Deborah. We said Deborah was the one that started the emerald. Oh, but Suzanne is the one that like conjured Lasher, right?
Right.
Yeah.
She had the priest's book of spells or whatever, the one they used to like call everybody a witch, and she was in the ancient circle of stones, which is some kind of, I guess, Stonehenge type place, and it actually worked or something when she did it. Something, I don't know. But yeah, Suzette called them, but I think it was Deborah, because remember wasn't Deborah with Peter somewhere, and they saw the emerald, and then like, I don't know, a week later he noticed she was wearing it or something.
Yeah.
He was like like amazed that she was asking about it, because he's like, "There's no way you can wear it." She's like, "I'm not worried about it."
Yeah, stay in your lane.
Yeah. I kind of, I agree with you. I don't really, like, it feels like she felt like she had to die for a cause, but it's like, for what cause? Like, maybe, I honestly don't, I still kind of wonder if, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's not really Lasher's MO to necessarily hurt the women, but like, if he wasn't poisoning her in some way.
I think he was highly upset when she died, as a matter of fact. I don't think.
Well, he, like, clearly was helping her.
Oh, he killed her husband for her because he's such a nice guy.
Oh, that's right. She kind of.
He did what you would have done anyway, or something. Like,
Because
whoa.
we've been with Charlotte for so long, I forgot that Deborah was like not really on board. But
Yeah,
that's
Deborah
what I
was-
mean. So maybe he killed her.
Yeah, she kind of saw him as a demon or the devil, evil. Isn't that what Peter said? And she's like, "Oh, you believe in evil after all," or something.
Oh my god, I highlighted it. I have to find it at some point. But they make a comment about like, don't worry, it's not the devil. And I'm like, oh yeah, because this like thousands or however old centuries, we don't even know how old demon is so much better than the devil. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, it may not be the devil from the. Actually, the devil's not even in the Bible. From Dante, but it might not be the Christian devil, but
it could be much worse.
it's not an angel, I guess. Put it that way. Although the devil is an angel. Anyway, that's different.
I just went over the part where Deborah died. She was on top of the tower. She yelled something that Peter couldn't hear. So maybe she was telling Lasher to like go away or like quit what he was doing, and he didn't like that. So maybe he threw her off the tower because he didn't actually see her die.
Yeah.
Thought he did.
Well, he sees her fall, but like,
Yeah.
I thought he saw her go,
unclear.
whether she jumped or.
It's unclear whether or not she jumped or because she was pushed. Or if she fell, like, you know.
Like, what's his name? The Louvier.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess the guy that decided that she had to burn her, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know all this Comte and Comtesse. Like I was getting confused in the beginning with all these people.
I looked it up.
Because there's a Comtesse, then there's an old Comtesse, and then there was a Comtesse de Chamillard, or however you say that French word.
Yeah, I definitely had to read that part a few times because I couldn't understand who was who, and I was like,
I
"Oh,
don't even know what.
those are her sons." Okay, like.
Yeah, and then there was the old Comtesse, which is grandma.
Her mother-in-law. Yeah.
She's her husband's. Yeah, her husband's mother, right? No, grandma.
Her
husband's grandma.
mother-in-law.
Her mother. Yeah. So, I don't even know what a Comtesse is.
It's a countess. It's count and countess is all it means.
What did I just say? Like, found the book where they called them that. I like how the Louviere was lying very near, skull crushed and bleeding, and that dull, stupid expression that the dead have, which is almost never approximated by human being in life. Interesting. I don't think I want that expression until I'm got that. Yeah, well, if Lasher's killing his witches, that doesn't seem like a good career move for him.
Well, I don't think. I mean, like Charlotte lives for a long time, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it's that Deborah, like, Suzanne is the one that called him, and I think Deborah was not playing along. Or maybe she was until she realized what was happening.
I think she's trying to suppress him, and then in the end there, she finally let him out. Maybe the way that went, because Deborah was all Christian about it, wasn't she?
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe she was probably just, I don't know, like maybe she was just hurt when she realized everybody turned on her when she only helped the entire town.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. Even like Peter said, it was weird. You would think I was going to a coronation, not a burning or something.
It just
everyone talked about how great she was. Sorry she has to get burnt alive, but that's amen. Rules is rules. Sorry.
That's life. What are you gonna do?
I mean, what are you gonna do? Did you see there's a new spinoff for that?
I did.
I tried to watch it, but I fell asleep.
I didn't know it was on. Check it out.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Anyway, Alex Big Mouth. Have you ever seen that?
I've seen a couple episodes.
There's a spin-off. It's like Where the Monsters Work.
Huh.
Yeah, it's all. I watched that. Yeah. I watched one about the Love Bug. So Deborah burns, I guess, for no reason. I like how they spun it. Like the town was destroyed because God was mad that they let a witch live or something, and when they finally burnt her to a crisp, God settled down. I forget what the exact spin was. I think he talked about it in 14.
Wait, what did you say? I'm sorry.
The way they spun the story of what happened into, like, they did the right thing because it was, like the town was being destroyed because God was angry that they suffered a witch to live kind of thing. And then they finally, when it only settled down when they burned her body, at just proving that it was God's will to go find more witches and burn them or something. That's why I like. She's great at this history shit, where she just makes up fucking histories of whole things that never existed. But the way I felt like everything was accurate. Like, so that's how they treated witches in the 1600s. I knew it was something like that,
Yeah.
Like, it's very believable. Everything she says is very believable the way it happened.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I sympathize with Peter, because the way he writes, he puts me there with him, so I'm feeling everything he's feeling. Like, I like his style.
Well, yeah, until he starts saying things like she was even more beautiful than her mother.
Well, I feel like the style. I don't necessarily like the words that come out.
No, I agree. Yeah.
It's
I mean,
very like engaging and excitable, and like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next?
yeah, it's
Oh.
very emotional, especially for a supposedly like observer only.
He was definitely not just an observer.
I had forgotten that. I mean, the Talamasca and the Mayfair Witches are like intertwined from day one, just about.
Yeah, well, thanks to Peter.
He made sure of that. He went like, that's like France, Mary, and Spain.
I also think about how they were like, before when they were warning him, like, oh, you shouldn't go. And like, before we knew what was going to happen, I was just like, yeah, whatever, no big deal. Like, he's going to go. And now I look back and think, like, yeah, you really shouldn't have gone.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like, if you hadn't gone.
So I wonder if like Alexander like had gotten to him first and told him what was going to happen if he still would have went.
Right.
Dude, you're going to be in prison, but you're going to like have sex with your daughter 12 times a day. So there's some good and some bad.
And become an alcoholic.
Yeah. Was that like magic wine or something? I didn't like.
What it made it seem like.
It was like he couldn't stop drinking it, even though he kept wanting to stop.
I don't know if it was that or if it was like their influence making him want to drink it, because I definitely got the impression, like he makes a comment later on, like after he leaves, about how he ordered his wine first thing in the morning. Like he definitely becomes addicted to wine.
Well, I mean, if you're going to be like in prison, you might as well be drunk, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why I also feel like I do feel bad for him, because it was just so.
I don't think he had a choice. I mean, at some point, maybe he had a choice to like stop drinking and make changes. And I guess he finally did do that. Well, no, he didn't. She got pregnant, and she was like, "I don't need you anymore." That's really what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
He never really said enough was. By the time he said enough was enough, she had already stopped.
Yeah.
He was like, "Now get out.
Now go die." Oh,
And
I was saying this earlier. I forgot to finish that point, but I like that Peter at the end is like, "I need to get back to Charlotte to tell her to stop." And then he's like, "Well, one horrible thing that has occurred to me is, what if it's her making him do this in the first place?"
We don't really get the answer to that, do we?
Nope. I think that's actually technically the next chapter. They put it in quotes too, where it's like she was struck by grief in her bed or something like that. I'm like, why'd you put that in quotes?
Yeah, like I want to hear the conversation she had with Lasher after she found out that Peter was dead. Like, I want details.
Maybe there was none.
There's definitely a lot more. I just got done reading 17 and 18 like in the last 2 days, so I keep I think jumping too forward ahead. I was gonna say there's a lot more Lasher, but now I can't remember if that's 16 or 17.
A lot Lasher and what?
In the book, like he shows up a lot more. We have many more appearances of him doing stuff, but he's still. We still almost know nothing. He's still very mysterious.
That's like almost exactly what I said earlier. I was like, we see him a lot more, but we don't really learn much. It's all kind of just like pieces.
There's a point. I can't really elaborate on that. I think he says he didn't exist until Suzette called him. He just was, or in the ether or something like that. I can't remember how he put it, but he just.
Yeah, I think he does say that.
He didn't really. So there's just like, it sounds like Todash almost. There's just like this place where these half-formed entities are just living existence out of time until they are called. That's kind of a horrifying thought.
Well, that's why you don't use Ouija boards.
Right. Not by yourself. That's why it's called a Ouija, goddamn.
By yourself? What difference does it make? Does the demon only do it by yourself?
It's much easier.
Much easier is still risk. Like, I don't want any risk.
Just don't let it in the house. Don't let a Ouija board in the house.
Right? Yeah, get that chalk stuff from Buffy. You put it on all the doorways.
Or some salt.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, one thing I noted real quick that I just saw is that already from the very beginning of the Mayfair timeline, we see this awful cycle of a mother being killed early in the child's life with Suzanne and then Deborah. Like, well, I guess Charlotte wasn't that young, so that's a little different.
How did Suzanne die? Oh, she was burned too. That's right.
Yep.
If only they had never found out that her mother was burned too.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Did they talk about Suzanne's death?
That was the one.
Yeah.
Wait.
That was the one where Peter went to see.
That's the one he rescued her from.
That was the one that he rescued Deborah from. Yeah.
Okay, that's right. And then they traveled, and then
That was the Comtesse, right? That was all that story? No. No, that was later on. Yeah, that's why I'm confused. Right.
Deborah is the Comtesse.
Yeah,
right?
right. That was later. Okay.
Yeah, she becomes like they part their ways. I forget how. How did they part? Weren't they together for like a couple years?
Peter
and Deborah.
No, because she kind of pretty quickly goes off on her own and gets married young to that guy and like starts her own life.
Right. Okay.
And then
I think he tries to tell her to come to the Talamasca, and she's like, "Yeah, right."
And then they hook up one night, and she's like, "Be with me." He's like, "No."
And I think she, what does he say? She already knew what I just came to understand, that I regretted my whole life not going with her or something.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, that's horrible. Yeah, all these Comtesses.
It seems weird though, that because like Amber, you said it seems to start at the very beginning where the mother dies young, but it's like that happens in Europe and in Louisiana, but not when they were in San Domingo.
That's a good point.
So I'm wondering if they have to have a certain amount of like wealth and power for that not to happen.
Well, didn't they have wealth and power at both New Orleans and the?
Yeah, but they had an entire part of that island to themselves, where they were kind of like sheltered and could hide what was happening. They didn't really have that any other place.
So this is all 17, not that I care, but I do remember a part of it where he makes a note that was the first time Lasher had been seen in over 100 years. I'm wondering if
that is part of it too.
Yeah. If Lasher is the cause of the deaths of all these mothers, or part of it.
I could believe that.
At least
like maybe after he killed Peter, Charlotte found a way to control him. And until they had to leave there, they were able to keep him under control.
Yeah. I didn't even think about
Well, they definitely picked up some voodoo stuff, so maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe they like put a spell on him to keep him away or something.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
Because first of all, Charlotte had made a weird voodoo doll when she was imprisoning him.
I totally forgot about the dolls, because they said that Deborah had a doll too.
Well, and they said that Belle had a doll that never left, that was made of bone and human hair.
Was Belle one of the sisters?
Oh wait, that's 17. Oops.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's one of the like older, like the oldest sister, I think.
Yeah, somebody had. I highlighted it somewhere. Somebody had a doll before her, and I was wondering if that was the doll that Charlotte had made, because they said it was made of hair and bone and stuff. And yeah, they introduced that creepy doll when he was in prison, and I never heard of it again. Oh.
I wonder if it's the same doll or a different doll.
That's what I was wondering. And I wondered, did she use the doll? Did she kill him? Did she use the doll? Did Lasher take the doll and kill him using the doll? Can he do
That's
that?
a good point because, like, he left like not long after that. So I was like, what was the? Or wait, maybe she did. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. Now I'm like, maybe she just used that to keep him there, but he was already in prison there to begin with. So I don't know.
There's no way going back there was good.
I mean,
That guy, like, was the king of. Don't do what I do.
oh yeah, from the Talamasca. I thought you meant for Peter. I was like, go back or not? He was gonna die.
Well, no, I did. I meant Peter. Yeah, but like I said, I mean, I would have tried to get the hell as far away from there as. I don't know. Did Lasher kill him? How did he die?
I know. We still have it. I don't know. Somebody definitely hurt him because you don't like get beaten and have 2 fingers severed.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. See, that goes back to the voodoo. Did he give the fingers to Charlotte? Did she put them in a
that's
jar?
what I was thinking.
Who had the jars? Mary Beth? Somebody had the jars.
No, it
Oh,
was Angelique.
No, it was
Marguerite. Yeah.
But again, that's getting into 17.
Yeah.
See, I
did
just read
all
that
of
part.
though.
That part's all fresh because I just got done reading.
So it says he was
Okay.
beaten, driven into a large crypt, trapped by a fallen tree. Fingers of his right hand were entangled in the debris as if he'd been trying to dig his way out. 2 fingers from his left hand were severed, and he had extensive head wounds.
Some beat the fuck out of him.
Right.
I mean, if I say I won't hurt him, does that mean I can, knock down the tree in front of him, and if he dies, he dies? I didn't hurt him. Does that count? Or
I mean, in a court of law, I don't think you could make that case because your actions led to him being hurt.
but so either
But, I mean,
he straight up ignored his orders, or she gave him the order to kill him.
Right, that's where I think it's interesting that it's all framed this way because I could believe either. I think
Yeah, neither one of those are a good option. Huh?
she has no idea what control she has over him or not, so he could easily do whatever he wants without her knowing.
I think he lets her think she's controlling him, and he's going and doing what he wants when she's not looking.
Exactly.
Like a 5-year-old. Like throughout, have I said that yet? Like he's like a petulant little child every time we interact.
But I also don't understand, like, if it's not at Charlotte's bidding, why does he really just? I guess he just wants Peter dead, so he doesn't ever sleep with her again. Like, what does he care?
Or maybe he's afraid of the knowledge that Peter has of him.
Well, Charlotte says that. How can I let you go knowing what you know?
Yeah.
But what is he gonna do? Like, I don't.
Warn the Talamasca? Maybe maybe he knows that they have a way that they could stop him?
Yeah.
Conjecture.
She's like, you can't tell the Talamasca. That.
No, go ahead.
Well, she says, if I let you go, you can't tell the Talamasca. And he's like, oh, I'm going to tell them. Don't you worry about that. And she's like, you don't even have the good sense to lie to me? What the hell?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but she would be able to see through it anyway, so.
Yeah, that was part, I think she was mentally fucking with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was either reading his mind or, like, persuading his mind. I can't determine how much of this is his fault. I don't want any of it to be his fault, really.
Well, that's why I said, the whole thing is just so uncomfortable because neither side is behaving any way that's acceptable in my mind.
Agreed.
Right. She's definitely a kind of awful person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I don't remember what it was, but there was some stuff that come up later that I think.
I don't like the narrative that is built about them, about like, oh, they're, sort of nice, but also if you mess with them, then you'll die.
Yeah.
She's like, sorry.
Good.
the description of Lasher possessing her father-in-law was just like awful. I just had the worst mental image of when that was described, and just ugh.
I almost feel like I can picture that scene, like a Jordan Peele movie.
Yeah.
I've seen that movie. Yeah, it was almost like it was very creepy. I don't even how like if you were there, like I'm gonna speak to someone like that. How do you not know that that's not him? And if you, for the few that did know that was not him, that's even worse.
Well, that is clearly a powerful being. Like, what are you gonna do? What can you cross them?
Yeah.
And if he can manipulate them like that, oh my god. Wait, he does say something though that for like a flash, there's a flash of the real person in there for like a second, and we saw nothing but fear or something.
Yeah.
Where I put that. So that's even more horrifying. So this demon's possessing him, and he's aware of it all, can't do anything about it. Ooh. That I guess that's what possession is. I'm not.
Yeah, I was gonna say most of the time I think that's the case.
It makes me think of what is that? Get Out, where they're like down in the thing and they can't get up.
That's exactly what I was picturing. Why I said Jordan Peele. Like,
yeah.
It's so creepy, and again, praise to her writing style. Like the way she describes everything. It's not like overly descriptive. It's just done in such a way like it's brilliant. I'm like, oh, I get chills when I'm reading these scenes.
Yeah, it's not over detailed. It's like just enough.
Yeah.
And then there's an exclamation point. Like, oh, we're getting excited. Yeah, I almost picture it was like slamming arms down on the tail. I almost picture for some reason like a wooden puppet arms when I picture that scene.
I did too, yeah. Just like that very like a string leading your arm type of jerky movement, and just
exactly like that.
Yeah, like that's so much worse than not being able to move like you're normally not able to.
Yeah, what is the one person I haven't seen him move like that in years? Like, oh, are you kidding me?
I've seen him move like that.
Yeah. Or since the last time Lasher possessed.
Yeah. It's like, oh hey, Lasher's in town.
Hey man, how you been? Yeah.
Great.
You don't come out like you used to.
Yeah.
I knew I would crush her in my love. Come on, dude. You don't have to see that there's a problem with this stuff. Maybe you should be in prison, just not a sex prison. I'm trying to get to. I read a big chunk of this without highlighting. I was like, I'm just gonna go on the flop. There's something wrong.
Me too.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't 16. So I got Peter's all. Hey, can I have permission to go follow her? Because I'm gonna do it anyway. So you want to give me permission?
I do really appreciate the tone of the Talamasca, because it's like it's like religion done right. You know what I mean? Like they have.
It almost is. Yeah, they're like a cult or a church.
Right, all of the good aspects, like the community and the support and the loyalty and the honesty without the judgment and the shame. I'm like, it's not that hard.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God, do not get on that ship. Get your ass back here. You're not in trouble. We get it. Shit happens. Come on, just get your ass. This is the worst idea. And by the way, in case you forgot, we're a bunch of psychics, so we've already seen your death if you go. So just get back here.
Yeah, it's like we're not just saying this because we're trying to be funny
right.
Or like nag.
I'm not just being a pain in the ass, not letting you do anything.
Yeah, like you will die. He's like, cool, see ya.
Yeah, he's like, well, I had a good run.
Did you see her though?
Well, even when he was having feelings about Deborah and felt like he couldn't do anything, they were still like, you haven't signed anything saying that you have to be celibate. Like, you can go do that. And he was like, nah.
Yeah, it's almost cult-like, that Talamasca. And I guess he was just always going to be loyal to them because, that was he never had parents, so that was his family.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
He probably wasn't going to be the best addition to the Talamasca anyway. Well, he was there for like 20 years. I forgot that. A long time. Since he was like 8.
Yeah, he was like left in a crib on their steps or something. Yeah, I don't, I think I might have had to go with it. I don't know. It's like the Talamasca ain't going anywhere. I can go do that when I get older. I'm gonna go have fun. Yeah, but they were basically like, oh my god, hell no, do not go there.
I mean, I don't understand why he felt like he had to do it in person anyway. Like, he could have, like, I don't know. It's just...
Because it was his daughter. I guess. I mean, otherwise, write a letter, like, say what you gotta say, and, good luck to you.
Exactly. Like, I'm like, if people are telling you that this trip is going to cost you your life and who knows what else, like, I'm sorry, maybe, well, I don't know, it is your daughter. Like, knowing what we know, it's not worth it, but...
Yeah.
I mean...
though, if you just found out that you had a daughter and, you didn't know and that you would have wanted to be part of her life, how could you say no to going to see her?
And he probably wanted to at least, like, check her out, if not, not that kind of way, but, like, see what she was all about.
Being that kind of way.
Yeah, well, yeah, it ended up being checking her out. That's pretty cool. I don't think he went there with that intention, at least I hope.
I didn't get that feeling.
Didn't seem like it.
He just apparently has no self-control at all.
Basically.
Or he was under his spell, I think. I think that was at least partly.
There was definitely a spell going on, but he was like a willing participant almost. Like, how they say to be hypnotized, you have to want to be hypnotized?
Yeah.
I like how he's like, when he's like, when he's on the road, when Lasher's fucking with him and he's telling himself, he's like, there's nothing there. I can hear the hot breath. I know, or I can feel the hot breath in my neck. I know when I turn around, nothing's gonna be there. And he turns around and there's like a burnt Deborah an inch from his face. Like, oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I said it felt like some kind of like creep show episode because it's just hilarious. Like,
I know. I was waiting for her to say hi.
Yeah.
Like, got a light?
Boo.
Yeah, it was like one of the skeletons in Creepshow. Yeah.
Like Peter, he hears a football behind him, then there's a breathing of another man and he feels his breath on his neck. So he finally turns around and then it's him with his skull on fire. Yeah.
That was pretty cool too. Like, oh wow. How did he know it was him if his skull was on fire? I'm just saying.
Well,
did he recognize his own skull?
He had seen him before, but then he moves forward, like, because he's like, oh, it was his own face, and he like ran at him and he fell down. So then he starts to run away and he's like, all right, I'm just gonna look straight ahead so nothing can distract me. And that's when he hears the footsteps behind him, and then he hears the breathing and he feels the breath on his neck. So he's like, and he turns around and then it's the same man, but his head's on fire with the skull.
Yeah.
I wrote it all down in a list. And he's like, okay, I'm only gonna look at my feet, and then he starts to see naked, bleeding feet next to his, and he can smell the burning flesh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and he freezes that whole scene. Like, I can see that. I love it. I can see that whole scene.
Oh my god! And the whole thing with the cemetery, and like that fact, I didn't think about the fact that would actually mean the cemetery had been just desecrated because the bodies came up out of it.
Yeah, that's like a newspaper article. Vandals, or when he died or something, wasn't it? They were talking about the cemetery had been vandalized.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's That was how it started, right? And then it just got worse from there.
I mean, technically, it started from when he was in the hotel room.
Well, yeah, true. What's a looking glass?
I wrote that down.
Mirror.
I spied him in the looking glass, peering out of it. How does he do that? Surely he cannot be in the
Mirror.
glass. I didn't know. That's a looking glass? I didn't know that.
Pretty
So through
sure.
the looking glass is through the mirror?
Did they have mirrors back then? They must have, right?
I mean, yeah, they've had mirrors for a long time. Every medieval story has some maiden in a mirror.
Oh yeah. I mean, it started like first he just appeared in front of him, and then like blew his candle out, opened all the windows,
Yep.
spilled
Yeah,
his
he's
ink.
Like a little kid.
Yeah.
Like, I can see him doing it. But
It kind of reminds me of Pennywise too.
it also kind of shows you like his ability to manipulate matter is pretty goddamn powerful, right? I mean,
Yeah, definitely, somewhat. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think we have any idea what he's capable of at this point. We've just seen like glimpses, and I think he might be related indirectly to all these women dying early, just because if I have this right, they like, you know, he's like most of their first lovers technically, and it seems to turn into a jealousy thing when they then start fucking their brothers.
yeah.
And so
Well, he's definitely probably.
then there becomes like a love triangle, and like, you know, what was it? The one Antha threw herself out the window, and Stella shot, or Lionel shot Stella. Like, it seems like a jealous rage kind of thing going on every time.
Yeah, definitely.
So maybe in that way he's killing them, like as opposed to directly like sticking his foot out and tripping them out the window. I don't know. But yeah, that's 17. Damn, I wish I hadn't read that. I'm getting ready to talk about Julian.
I mean, we can't. I've read up to.
We can talk about whatever we want. Then it just starts. Oh man, yeah. Then oops, that's 17. Oh, I came to the end. What the stuff I highlighted? That's all in 17.
I'm surprised that we hear this is like 13 through 16 felt a lot longer when I was reading it.
It did, and it seemed like so much happened. I don't think I got near covering any of it.
A lot of it is just like the whole Suzanne, Deborah, Charlotte, Peter story. I guess that's all of it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it's so basically, yeah. Peter shows up, and so this is what we just started the file with this one, right? This is our first dive into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I like how she breaks it up just enough that you're aware it's Michael still reading the file. Like every now and then you get Michael put it down, got up, got some coffee, you know.
Yeah.
Went back at it, like, oh yeah, I forgot. I'm not reading this, he's reading this. But or we both were reading it.
Well, and I like too how after one of the Deborah portions, you go back to Michael and he's like, "That's who I saw." You're like, "Oh,
yeah.
okay."
Because I keep forgetting. So Deborah has black hair and Charlotte has blonde hair, right? I keep picturing Deborah as a blonde.
Yeah, I think they said she had either like auburn or like blondish hair.
She's the raven-haired woman in the portrait in the Talamasca, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Deborah has dark hair.
Right, and Charlotte doesn't.
I don't remember about Charlotte, but
Yeah, because Charlotte, they were saying like Deborah has dark hair, and so did the Count dude that she married. So when Peter heard that Charlotte had lighter hair, he was like, "Oh, she sounds like, she looks more like me, that is my daughter.
Yeah, he could see himself. So does Lasher have anything to do with these men and their horrible physical attributes?
What do you mean?
The husbands all seem to have like genetic defects. They're dying. They're dying early as well. At least in Haiti or wherever they are.
Well, I mean, I know what you mean. Like Anton has the.
Anton had the same thing his father had. Father and someone else. Didn't someone else after Anton have something different? Now I don't remember.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking, because that's the only one I can think of, except for whatever happened to her husband, but that definitely was Lasher's fault.
Yeah. Because they always say they marry them because they're handsome.
Yeah.
Well, they're always they usually start off pretty good, and then it goes south.
That quote was so funny to me because it almost felt like so like righteous. It was like, they only marry for looks, never money or love. It's like, okay.
I guess it's all about the bloodline. Never for, well, I mean, geez, okay, never for money's okay, but you could marry
right,
for love.
that's why it's such a weird statement. It's like parts of it are okay, but not.
I think I know a few people like that. It's all about how you look. I don't know that much else to say. If we're stopping at 16, I mean, I think we can pretty much call it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we want.
Because I mean, at this point, I'm ready to go further. Like, Peter dies. We don't know how he dies. He had the most terrifyingly awesome trip through the woods at night. Like, that's almost straight out of Dracula. Have you guys read that? That's something that happened in that book. Like, in a carriage going through the woods at night, you're starting to hear shit, starting to see shit. I can't wait till AMC does this book and you see that scene.
Well, if we want, I don't know if we want to do like a week or if we want to just do a lot and then do 2 weeks out.
You mean? Well, hold on.
This one is kind of short.
Yeah. So, are we good on 16? Then you got.
I think we're good on 16, and it seems like most of us have read at least most of 17. So
maybe parts. Well, I read all 17. But if you've read all 17, you read 18. It's like a page more. And there's a lot. Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna, let's wait till, Amber, you still have to finish 17.
Yeah.
All right, so what's after 18? Anybody look?
19 looks like it's kind of long. But not too long.
So 19 is, like 78 pages.
17 to 19 would be, well, we've read most of 17. Well, I don't know, do you want to do...
So if we
I mean, really, all I'd have to read is 19 if you want to do that for even next week. I don't even care. I could do that.
I mean,
if we want to do 17, well, technically 17 to 21 would be close to 200, maybe?
If we're doing that, we should do 2 weeks then.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay, we can do that. Because, I mean, like I said, I've read most of 17, or I've read all of 17. I would just have to add 19. So, yeah, I can do that. You guys want to do that in 2 weeks?
So we said 17 through 21.
All right. Don't stop at 21. Stop at 22.
Yeah. Okay. 399. This whole, I don't know why not having a table of contents really, like, hurts me in this case.
Yeah, I find it odd. I don't like this self-discovery thing I have to do every time. I just got to flip pages until I see a really big number.
Well, that's not
Yeah.
that it matters, but it's like 250 pages. Okay, yeah, that's good.
Is that good or is that too much?
No, that's fine. I just have to read it.
Because
Yeah, like I said,
book 17 starts at 399 and 22 starts at 548. So
249 pages.
okay. If you're into 17 a little bit, yes, it'll be about 200.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I'm really, there's a lot to talk about in 17 too. So we start getting into all the other people after Peter. I'm really, that's not gonna be a problem for me. I'm starting to really get into the book now. I don't want to do anything.
Me too. I'm enjoying. It's like watching a movie with like people I know. I'm like, okay, now that's that person and that person and this person.
Yeah. Oh, now she's old. And now she's wait, who's that? And that's mostly 17. It's like, okay, well, wait, this one is okay over there, and they were born then, but now they're grandmothers.
And which one's the legacy, right? Okay.
yeah,
yeah. You have to
make the family tree.
You have to be a woman unless you're Julian, and he apparently, he takes his whole. Anyway, that's the next episode.
Wait, well, yeah, I was gonna say something must happen then because Marguerite had, I thought, or
yes, and we'll get into it.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
She officially, yes. I'll put it that way. I think Julian's the one exception to the rule, though, and he says something like that. And then he takes his whole section and is like, that we need to talk about his bisexuality. And I'm like, okay, why do we need to talk about that?
Yeah.
Like I'm wondering if somehow that made him able to be. Because Lasher seemed like he was attached to Julian, not Marguerite.
Oh.
We'll get to that. That's next.
Yeah.
Bye.
Are we good on this one?
Yeah, I think so.
2 weeks through 21. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Bye.